We are live. Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. I'm Marcus. I'm the head of partnerships at ViewFi, and I'll be the moderator today. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us for what I believe will be a valuable discussion about the future of video advertising and ads in general. So let's give it just one more minute and some more people can join. And over the next hour, we are going to explore how reward-based video advertising is transforming engagement and strategies today. So you're here directly from the teams from ViewFi and also AdButler, teams building these solutions and see and leave some actionable insights so you can apply it to your own strategies. So yeah, we have participants from various industries and company sizes joining us today. So thank you so much once again. And yeah, let's begin with Chris and Rob introductions.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris Gale. I'm the CEO of ViewFi. We've been building rewarded video solutions for the past two and a bit years now, working with many Fortune 500 brands, publishers, and looking forward to discussing the future of video advertising and working with a partnership with AdButler.
Oh, I guess that leads me.
Yep.
I'm Rob. I'm head of product over here at AdButler. AdButler is a full suite of ad serving solutions. We've been in business since 1999 now, so that's forever in ad tech years. Yeah, and we power everything from retailers to e-commerce to regular traditional publishing, news publications, and so forth, from email ads, video ads, and everything in between.
And Rob, I have to say, one of the best setups for doing a webinar. I have to say, you're putting my white wall to shame. But yeah, loving the setup there.
I'm a bit of a nerd. I apologize.
Thank you both for those introductions. So yeah, let's begin. Let's kick this off and address what brought us everyone here today. So we are seeing significant shifts in how audiences interact with video content, especially with the Gen Z generation. Everything is moving so quickly and fast, and the traditional approaches are becoming less and less effective. So, Chris, let's start with you today, and yeah, let's show a little bit about ViewFi and talk about what ViewFi can offer to the advertisers and publishers.
Yeah, sure. So the reason why we built ViewFi was, working in the industry for over 20 years now with some of the biggest brands, movie studios, and we've just seen this continued decline in video completion rates. Yet, users want to learn about new products and services. Video is by far the most impactful, successful. And you had this funny relationship between the brands saying, how do I get my video completion rates up? How do I stop users skipping after 5 seconds? And really the common response from the supply side or the ad tech or the platform was, oh, just make your videos shorter. We've gone from 60 seconds to 30 seconds to 20 seconds. So the solution to increase your completed video view rate has been to decrease the length of your video, which then is counterproductive to selling your goods and services. So we've had an interesting reduction in performance, but on the other side, we've seen what started in mobile gaming, rewarded video. And rewarded video was where you get rewarded some gems as a user, and you would collect gems for playing games, but then you'd be watching videos. And what we'd saw is really, really high completion rates in some platforms like IronSource, and that's kind of had a bit of a bad rep back years ago, kind of considered incentivized video. But it's really matured, and along with it has expectation amongst users of receiving some sort of value in return for attention, as they're becoming a bit sick of just being pushed ads. And so you've just seen this new audience, I believe, that have grown up with gaming apps, rewarded video, and now that's starting to flow into other bigger, more successful platforms, especially when it comes to gaming.
Thank you so much, Chris, for bringing this up tonight, today, and for all of us. And yeah, I'd like to hear from Rob. And Rob, can you tell me what kind of businesses is AdButler seeing build or expand on the ad networks today?
Yeah, that's interesting. And I kind of want to riff off of Chris a little bit there too, because I'm a dad. My kid is 5. I have another kid on the way, and the way like the content that my kid engages with now is completely different than what I grew up with, and even like the generation before him grew up with. Like he's consuming so much. Like he's 5, and it's a nightmare to try and convince him to turn off Roblox at any point in time, right? Or Minecraft and things like this. And when he's watching things like he doesn't watch TV anymore. They don't watch cartoons like they used to. He turns on YouTube and he starts just watching like content creators and influencers. And it's just it's a totally different world than what we grew up with, right? But this is where it is now, right? And I think what we're seeing now is we live in a world of kind of like instant gratification, right? And just the kids are so used to this now, and these kids are now teenagers and so forth, right? Um, I remember dial-up internet and before internet, where if somebody picked up the phone, you got kicked off, right? And be like, "Mom, like you kicked me offline." Now they're just always connected, right? Um, what we're seeing, over here though, is that I would say, from like the mid 2010s to like late 2010s, there was a lot of this rewarded video, mostly around apps. So kind of what Chris was saying, right? It was very heavy into apps and a lot of games, right? Like games always had like, oh, you could get more gems. I'm gonna blame King and Candy Crush, right? But like, watch rewarded video, get more gems for Candy Crush Saga. They like started all of this, but um, uh, it's becoming more popular now, and we see it outside of just the app environment, but it's tailored to a different approach. So, like, what I see heavily now with retailers is like shoppable video formats, right? Like, um, being able to purchase a product directly from the video ad or learn more about it. And it's not just on like owned and operated sites, but now they're running this in like social media content. So you're scrolling through your Instagram feed or your TikTok feed, and all of a sudden you're seeing an ad for, Nike, and you can purchase that ad without ever leaving the experience.
Connected TV is the other one with Amazon. What they're doing now is so
Right?
powerful, and again, as you're saying, this is a younger generation that's brought up with this type of behavior. My 4-year-old, and jumping in here, Rob, is like resonated so many points. He before he was 3 years old, he knew exactly how to skip an ad, and you could serve to him the most relevant, like targeted, best, like creative. He would still hit skip after 5 seconds, and that's now been programmed into him.
Yep.
And it's very hard to, let's say, unprogram. However, when there's some rewards, some gems, a fun experience, a gamified experience, then he's more than happy to engage and with that message.
100%. My kid knows the difference between an ad, like a good ad, like a fun ad, and a bad ad. If a poor video experience comes up, he skips it as soon as it comes up. But like, and because he plays a lot of games, if there's a really good video ad that catches his attention, and sometimes it's like more of these like, um, either he's watching the video for a reward at the end, or he's watching the video because um it's more of like a rich media style format where he can actually engage with the video and click on elements and things happen. Um, like that, he gets to the end and then he just starts it over again and plays the same thing on a loop over and over again, right? So yeah, it's yeah, I guess that's my 2 cents on that piece.
With new platforms, you've seen Discord, Roblox. Like Roblox is hitting 100 million uniques players a day now, like insane numbers.
I
And
think they broke records last week, right? For like one in-game experience, 22 million concurrent players
they,
in one time. That is absurd that 22 million people are playing the exact same experience at that 1 second, right? And if you had video ads in there, just imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously Roblox had a choice of putting display ads, immersive ads, anything. They've gone with rewarded video. It's performing and closing what Roblox is reporting, like 80 to 90% completed video rates. And the reward element, because of the nature of UGC, user-generated content, you can create these digital assets that are considered like the new merchandise for younger audiences, that really believe and mean are valuable. We're seeing really high engagement rates, really high conversion rates, and then Discord is another one. So only a couple of months ago, Discord launched their new ad format, which was rewarded video. So Google's been partnering with a number of these. So we're really seeing this format merging. However, it's still locked into these walled gardens and these platforms. So the brand can purchase more of a guaranteed outcome of a completed video. But there's still a lot of limitations for that brand, which probably scared them off rewarded video, even all those years ago, of like, well, great, but who's watching my video? Is it somebody watching it on repeat just to get gems? Is it too closely aligned to incentivized? And so really they were some of the problems with ViewFi, how we thought to say, okay, if we could rebuild rewarded video as a format, but benefiting brands, what could that look like?
Yeah, and from a publisher point of view, I mean, just again, I work heavily on the sell side, right? So I work with a lot of publishers and in digital magazines and news and again like commerce, e-commerce and retail and so forth. It's a very easy sell for shoppable and rewarded video for e-commerce. You get a coupon code, you watch the video, you get a discount, right? That's easy. What I find, at least, is more of the traditional publishers coming along and going, "That's super cool. I don't know really how it fits into my business model, right? Like, how do traditional think of like a news publication?" And then, one of the biggest kind of upticks I've seen in the past, probably like 3 months, is like um you kind of like an opt-in process, right? So, and you'll see it a lot on like you said, walled gardens and things, where in order to get to the content you want to get to now, it's I don't want to say gated. Gated makes it sound horrible, and it's not gated, but it's like, hey, the reward for watching this 15-second video is you don't have to pay a monthly subscription to get access to read this content or this article or whatever, right? And so, and again, it's all about making that video not suck. If the content behind it is really good, and the ad in front of it is really good, I mean, it's a win-win situation, right? Your brands are happy, your publisher is happy, the content gets read, that's great. There's nothing worse than going to a site and it being locked behind a paywall or locked behind a watch this ad and then you can get to it. But that ad is just either like way too long and you're stuck waiting 2 minutes for content that isn't interesting to you in any way, shape, or form, right? Or it's just obnoxious and loud, right? So I think there's kind of like, and I don't know, before we kind of dig back into Marcus's questions, Chris, if you have any kind of like, what are some of the best practices you've seen with the brands you've worked with so far? I know there's quite a few, but have you found anything that works really well, that's kind of like more engaging than others?
Yeah, really interesting question, and it's obviously the same. What works well, or I suppose, turning it back round to how ViewFi fundamentally works. It would be good to just give a quick demo perhaps first, and I'd love to answer that question, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got different types of templates and rewards, so maybe I can help the audience understand and visualize how we do rewarded video with a big twist at ViewFi, because we're putting the power back into the publisher or the brand's hands to manage their own rewards, plus then they own the data. So that's then the big different play, is that they're not just taking an SDK and an ad tag and not knowing what's happening. They actually get to kind of have a big say in what the reward program is. And this also works then really good when they are partnering with certain brands. They might have a brand sponsoring them, so the brand can actually give away money can't buy experiences, free popcorn if you go and watch the movie, and so it can be then very deeply linked. And that's where we've seen it work well, is where the reward is then very closely aligned to the user's interest, whether it's the publishing site. Content was a great example. If they're a fan of the site, not only can we give them content, but what scarce digital experiences can we also lock in. Interesting case studies are meet the cast between the pod show, have a direct conversation with the any celebrities within the podcast show, meet the talent of the movie, etc., and things like that, which these brands are all doing and giving away anyway. But without further ado, I'll hand it over to Marcus to do a quick demo.
Yeah, perfect. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Rob and Chris. So let me show you everyone quick demo, one of our formats.
I'm a windbag. I can go on forever about topics I'm passionate about. So
So this is one of our formats. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
yeah, we can see it here.
Perfect. So yeah, we will have the let me just update this. So you're gonna see the reward title. We have a overlay reward title and reward description. So once the player, the user sees the ad, they're gonna be like, wow, what is this? So they're gonna be curious of what they want to find out what this video is about. So obviously, you want to show them what they can get in return to watch this video, for example. So here, they play the video and the countdown starts right here on the top right of the corner. And so they're gonna click right here and have to agree to the terms and opting to receive their marketing communications from this Jurassic for this example. And they can log in with that to with their email account or even a Google account. So this is very easy to do and faster. And
Is a
by the way,
login always required there? Sorry, Marcus. I feel on the fly, quick product demo, but is a login always required there? Like I'm thinking more from the publisher point of view. What kind of, because this is super beneficial for getting first party data, right? Like what can you
exactly.
obtain here, right? That would be beneficial for both a brand and a publisher.
Exactly. So this is a value exchange, right? So you're offering the reward for users, and users in exchange they're gonna give away them their data, which is the first party data that you can leverage to remarketing campaigns. And so when they log in, already have their data, so it belongs to the brand in this case. So we have several formats. So this is just one of 3D asset that can be rewarded via Roblox. And they're gonna have their code here. So we have several templates. And this can be run in applications, embedded on websites, and also on social media. Chris, do you want to add something?
Yeah, just I'll add that we've got multiple different formats that this is displaying in. We're just showing a full video URL at the moment. It's also can be
Yeah.
beneficial linked to any social that the publisher's doing, that the brand's doing. It's fully the widget allows us to embed it anywhere across your owned and earned, as well as then ad formats. We're integrated, certified with AdButler, so you can run mobile interstitials, you can run outstream video, which outstream's coming very soon, and we've got native overlay. And then this video is being hosted by AdButler, so it's a video
Exactly.
file, which then is videos being distributed, but we are compatible with many other video players as well, like even YouTube and Vimeo, that we're compatible with.
That's right.
And then we have gamified experiences. We can capture quizzes and polls and viral mechanisms to get users to share on social media to get more points on the leaderboard. So there's a lot of other different growth solutions within the widget itself. And then the brand or the publisher owns all the data. It can be pushed directly into your CRM. So you're now linking a video campaign directly with a performance campaign of growing your CRM. And we're seeing really high results of getting not only the completed video views, but the brand or the publisher gets to see who is watching their videos, not just how many videos were watched.
You touched on something that I have questions. I have so many questions, but you touched on owning the data. So does that mean, in this case that I'm assuming ViewFi, from the AdButler point of view, we do nothing with the data, but you guys don't take that data, aggregate it, and sell it off to third parties.
Just
It's just to the brand and publisher,
we
right?
have a data processing agreement where we're just the data processor. We're not the data owner,
Yeah,
and all that's in the terms and conditions when they're signing up. It's very clear. It's fully GDPR compliant, CPPA compliant, and we basically
perfect.
are just servicing that data on behalf of the brand and the client.
Yeah, I find that's like one of the biggest things, one of like the hottest topics that are coming up right now, kind of in just the ad tech industry alone, is like, are you taking my data and reselling it somewhere else, right? Right. So data
That's right.
ownership is like a big thing, right? So it's good to know you guys are kind of on the same page.
And we
Um,
have got a couple of use cases where we've done deeper integrations where the publisher, the brands put their own authentication layer
oh,
inside.
cool.
And so it gives us a little less visibility on some of the anti-skipping repeat business or repeat claims mechanisms, but it allows then the company to close off, silo off the data. But normally, even if they're injecting our API, they're pulling the data in, we can delete it after a number of hours once that successful transition's happened.
Oh, awesome. Cool, cool. Sorry, Marcus. I'll quit hijacking it.
Awesome, awesome. No worries, no worries, guys. Thank you very much for your contribution. So yeah, yeah. I just wanted to know from you, Rob. What makes um reward-based video campaigns such as ViewFi such a strong fit in making sense for AdButler's customer right now? I would like to hear your thoughts about it.
Yeah, and I think we kind of touched on this earlier on, is that like the world is changing, right? The traditional viewership that used to exist, just the way we consume content is changing, and the way that we have to serve ads has to change with it, right? So the type of ads we are, let's face it, we are all kind of banner blind to. That's an old term from like the the early 2020s, but it's still relevant today. we don't we're kind of programmed now to ignore a 300 by 250 and a 728 by 90, and we're kind of, to Chris's point, we're almost programmed at this point to hit that skip button as soon as we can see it, right? So I think like if the question is really around, um for our customers, I find particularly on the sell side, is that how do you fit in this new format into something that fits your current kind of architecture, right? Like if you're a traditional publisher, if you're a traditional, again, the writing's on the wall. It's super easy for e-commerce, right? Super easy for e-commerce, super easy for retail. If you're not doing it already, you're already leaving money on the table, right? And even for traditional publishers, like if you're not doing it now, it's time to start thinking about how to get this type of format working with your content, because if you're not leaving money on the table now, you are going to very soon, right? And it's simply because us as consumers, we are now just consuming content different than we used to, right? So we um we expect to see video ads. Like if I see a website now that doesn't have some sort of outstream player, especially if it's sports related, like if I go to a sports related website and I don't see a video somewhere, I'm like, wow, this page must have been built in the 90s. Like it's just I need to see video content. Apparently, just we're so after like reading is so done. I just want to see the content, right? And just like the ad industry is just we need to keep up with that, right? So, but again, the biggest thing is how do I? And again, this is where I try to advocate for publishers, is getting that content right so that you don't disrupt the user experience, right? Because a big part, you want to make sure your viewers keep coming back to your content. And maybe it's a question I'll toss back to Chris and Marcus on the fly. But is there anything that you find, again, user experience is kind of crucial? Because if you have, pardon my language, but if it's a pain in the ass when you get there, there's a good chance your users are going to leave, right? And not come back. They're just going to get um, the gamer words in me, or they're going to get salty, right? They're just going to get angry, right? So how do you properly make sure that it's still appealing, not disrupting the user experience, right? And I do think that comes down to what ViewFi is offering here now. It's like proper rewards, right? Like, how do you incentivize them to stay and consume your content with video, right? So, and I think that just comes down to the type of rewards you're offering. Realistically, at the end of the day, every publisher has some sort of reward they can give to their viewers. Could be loyalty points, could be access to gated content. Um, I mean, it really could be like, free swag for that matter, right? Like there's all sorts of different things you can gate around it. I know we only kind of showed, or you guys only showed the in-game Roblox experience, right? But like I'm sure there are other things. Do you have some other examples of what other brands are doing and what their rewards were like?
Yeah, sure. So we have different brands doing contests and competitions. So we have a pretty cool like spinner wheel. So you get through, you can spin a wheel, and you can win specific prizes. And that could be a Starbucks coffee voucher,
Right.
which then we've got a plug-in, so they get then add it to your Apple Wallet, and all of a sudden you can go to Starbucks and redeem it. We've got an interesting area around digital assets. We've had a number of customers offering NFTs, digital collectibles, and then they act as a whole other proof of ownership in a way, which then has additional rewards and loyalty that client then pushed on. We've had interesting retargeting campaigns where users, wanted to retarget. Advertisers wanted to retarget users who had been to their site, and then they said, "Hey, thanks for visiting our site. Watch a 3-minute video about how our technology could help improve, your company's systems, and have a Starbucks coffee on us." And so, yeah, it really not every brand's the same, publisher's the same,
Yeah.
objective is the same. So it's really getting that fit right. And the other big area of interest that we've seen is brands that are leveraging sports sponsorship. So your Visas and MasterCards who are building video content around, importantly, staying relevant around big cultural, social, sporting events. And so to activate and leverage that content, they are desperate for first-party data. They want to know who's watching, and so you can win money can't buy experiences like tickets to the UEFA Women's World Cup, for example, is a really good and interesting angle that we've seen teams distribute. And just on that note, where publishers can also lean in is like reselling this format. So it can be if the publisher's got direct relationships with some brands and some partners, well, this is a great format to charge as a premium CPM to increase yields and to get better performance for them. And you can then lean into your brands to work together to see what that reward could be that would work for their audience.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I kind of like that because I kind of tunnel again the publisher side, right? But realistically, without a brand sponsoring or paying that publisher, I mean, they they have nothing, right? So, um, that's a really interesting one. You can almost incentivize. I mean, you're giving a brand incentive to your user, right? So I'm just imagining a news publication or something like that that's showing an ad. Again, Starbucks is a great example, or it might even be something another kind of like market that we see here is like hyper local, right? And not when I say hyper local, I don't necessarily mean geographic based, but niche, right? Like niche based. You think of like booksellers and things like that, right? Where they come in, you can have, and I do have another question I'll circle back to in a second about short form and long form content, but you could have, content around, um, a quick short video about the newest book launch or a signing nearby or something, right? And then give them a free credit for a book or something like that, right? Or a free signed edition. Probably not a free signed edition that's expensive, but you know what I mean, right? Like, the publishers and advertise it's a really good synergy when you have that direct relationship with your advertiser, because at that point you're saying, look, what is it you really, the publisher gets some first party data and the advertiser gets first party data or second party data, but then beyond that, it's the user gets something in return, right? And what is it that the user is going to get that's really going to make sure that they go, yeah, I'm going to watch this whole thing and fill it out because I really want to get that free book, right? Or whatever the case is. But in my experience, I'm trying to remember the exact number. It's like 18 or 24% higher. I'd have to find the number somewhere, but the like the engagement rate and the click-through rate of somebody actually clicking on a video ad versus a relevant video ad versus clicking on a banner ad is exponentially higher than traditional banners, right? So giving them incentives, good incentives to do it, and good, a good reward, I think is crucial here.
But what's funny, Rob, is like video is primarily not known as a performance format, right? It's like, oh, it's video's brand, CPM based,
Yeah.
and very difficult to link to. And what we like to, what we've been seeing is ViewFi as a technology can wrap over a video, can deliver a format that is actually, even if it's not tracking direct conversions there and then from an attribution perspective, if you're building your CRM and you've got permission to then reminders and sell your product over a couple of email campaigns, that conversion can then come and then be fully attributed in a way that you haven't seen before.
Do you find that there's any I have a short attention span, and I'm sure I'm not the only one in the world with a short attention span. Do you find that is there a sweet spot for, like, let's say you're doing video ads, and it could be, I'm agnostic in terms of the vertical right now, but do you find there's a sweet spot in like the length of the content video itself? Because you guys would probably know more than us. Um, is a 15-second video going to outperform a 30-second video? Like, is there a sweet spot? I'm kind of getting into the nitty gritty here because again, as an advocate for someone that wants to say, hey, we should try this out to see if it's going to work. How do we try, like, what's the best foot forward, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, great question, and it's also really depending on the sector. We see, movie trailers tend to pull in more engagement versus a insurance ad, and but
Fair.
and then the reward is really affects and impacts our results. That we had a big, huge insurance company, speaking of insurance, run a campaign where they were selling life insurance and offering coffee vouchers. Their video was 3 minutes long, but we saw a 70, I think 5 or 6% completion rate, because then people were hanging around to then go through to claim. And with ViewFi's system, we can choose whether they watch 50% of the video, 75%, 100%. So we can pull all of these dials, we can optimize the campaigns accordingly. But we tend to do it around 75% of the video, which is extending, just putting it on a small social media platform, because again, how it's hard to sell a complex product in 15 seconds.
Fair.
So ViewFi, we can get that user their attention to hang out longer, to extend your attention span, as you just said, as a viewer. That we can offer a gamified experience to extend that to its maximum to get a better outcome.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is there any vertical you find doing it really well right now? Like, is there a niche that's like, this is awesome, you guys are killing it with your rewarded video experience, versus a vertical or an industry that's like, guys are kind of crappy at it, you need to get better?
Yeah, I mean, what's really interesting is the entertainment vertical and the fashion vertical that we're working with and linked to UGC gaming platforms. And so what we're seeing is new big innovation budgets targeting younger Gen Z audiences, who are looking to still sell, traditional, Adidas, for example, selling, clothes and merchandise, but they're putting a big investment into these gaming worlds, Roblox, Fortnite, because they believe this is where their next generation of customers are spending all their time, from the data that we were talking about at the beginning of the call. And what works really well with ViewFi is then the reward is digital UGC, digital swag, which then is also building the brand in the world. So you're not just giving them the video, you're bringing them into the branded world, and you're increasing the experience. They're playing games, they're socializing in these worlds, they're wearing the the digital swag, the digital UGC that we've given away, and we gamify that experience by giving it ultra rare, or common. So it becomes a really gamified experience to collect that reward, watch the video, submit your data, claim your reward, and then go to Roblox to then go and play, claim your reward with inside Roblox. So that's doing it really well. Where it falls a little bit short is just discount off and coupons. So not coupons, but coupon codes. So getting 10% off, yes, it works better than just pushing a normal ad, but users don't tend to see the value of just saving a little bit of money, and they then need to go and make a purchase to get that reward anyway. And so that's where we see it. The results not as strong as UGC rewards that we've been running recently.
Yeah, fair enough. That that makes a lot of sense. I low key kind of looked at the poll results from the last one, and it sounds like there's a lot of like media owners here and things like that. What would be some advice you would have for traditional media owners, publishers, like if they wanted to start into this, right? So if they're brand new, this is not a format they've adopted before, right? How do they start with this? I will say from the AdButler side, it's super easy. There's just an integration already. You're just going to take your ViewFi tag, drop it into AdButler, super easy. If you guys need to figure out how to make it work in the AdButler platform and you're already a customer or you want to know how, hello@adbutler.com, super easy. But more on the like logistical point of view, that and forget the technical setup, but the logistical point of view, what's like the best foot forward? How do they get started in doing this? Like, do they talk to their brand first and pitch it? Do they do a POC or an MVP, with an in-house brand, right? Like how would I go from I'm not doing any rewarded video to I'm doing really good rewarded video?
Great question. So especially working with the media agencies, rewarded video is trending quite a bit at the moment. They're looking for these types of formats, and it's difficult for publishers then to offer without using a partner like ViewFi. So we've done it in two tracks where we'd engage with the publisher. They would run an in-house ad. They'd look to promote their own content, and they'd start to build and think about what that reward program would look like. And really building community is so important today, right? And I don't think it's been around since the beginning of social media, but how can publishers and brands build their community, social media, and so building loyalty points, rewards, winning swag, branded content, access to content that's normally behind paywalls are all great places to start. And then we've had the sales teams really excited about having a new exciting format to go to their media agencies and brands to pitch, which again will allow them to stand out different to other publishers, their competition, to charge higher yields, and to really kind of engage with those advertisers to run branded ad campaigns.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you see it like maybe not on the rewarded video side, but I have a curious question here, and I think there's a way in which it could be kind of married together. But you see it a lot on sites now and applications where it's like you place an order for something, and then all of a sudden you get like affiliate offers at the end, right? You place an order on DoorDash or whatever, and then all of a sudden now you see ads for like, or a pop-up saying, hey, you can get 3 months of XM satellite radio for free or whatever, right? Do you find that video content and rewarded video performs better in one place over the other? Like using it, I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, as a publisher or a media owner, where is the best place to run this content?
Yeah, we're still early in our publisher offering, right? So we've had a lot of traction with working with brands direct. We're really excited to roll this out to publishers. We've just launching our new Outstream video format that we're really excited to see the results there.
That one's gonna do well. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, and every publisher, every reward's different. So it's really just leaning in, testing and learning, and kind of on a case by case basis, understanding your audience, understanding what rewards are available, and what we see is more so the video formats that are more let's say, better positioned on page, above the fold, autoplaying works well, versus if they're like display, click to play, hidden in a smaller format. And then we do work very closely with our publisher partners to optimize any specific formats if they've got a requirement, a specific space. ViewFi's been built to be very agnostic, so we can make any tweaks and what have you to customize a placement for our partners.
Cool. Awesome. I have kind of one other question. How do you see this like evolving over the next? Obviously, this again, the mobile gaming app and gaming industry has kind of been doing this now for 5 or 8 years or so, or maybe even longer. But how do you see this evolving now for brands and publishers? Like, how do you see the next evolution of this happening in, say, 1 to 2 years? What's kind of what's the future look like?
Yeah, great question. I mean, well, we going back to the beginning, we talked about how quickly, audiences, media consumption is changing, and I feel like we've been seeing this for a long time. It's only going to get faster, right? Things are with AI now with us. It's crazy how attention spans are shrinking, cookies going away. There's more and more obstacles for more traditional publishers, media agencies to tackle with. So we're working with you guys to try and come up with formats to really help re-engage the users. That, as you said, is a win-win, giving value back to the consumer, back to the viewer, back to the advertiser, and it's really a win-win. What we're seeing is, again, as these audiences mature and grow and our kids get older, I don't think they're going to change and start consuming media like we do. I think the environment, the media landscape around them will continue to change. Websites have become much more 3D experiences with look like Roblox worlds that we are today, and they will be less static and text based. And that's going to be demanded by the user, just as they've been growing up in these digital experiences. And you're hearing Roblox, kids aren't going onto social media like they used to just 5 or 10 years ago. They are spending time in these UGC worlds and hanging out with their school friends there. And so it's funny because we heard about the metaverse was a huge thing a couple of years ago that everyone talks about. It reminds me of we used to call the internet cyberspace, right? You never call it cyberspace now, but I feel like UGC gaming is the metaverse of a few years ago that was the huge hype, and it's growing at an alarming rate or very, very fast. And I feel that as the rest of the internet catches up, it's going to look with more video, more gaming experiences, more 3D experiences, and that's the future that we're heading towards.
Yeah, and especially I think as tech progresses along with it, right? So like there's gonna come a point where your Meta Ray-Bans, your glasses, you're gonna be able to quickly view a web page or view, like publisher content in a lens on your face, right? And you're gonna be able to show content to your readers from a lens on their face. And that's not like that is within this year, and definitely next year, right? It's not something that's futuristic. It's already here for some people, right? And it's just gonna continue, right? And that I think that entire experience like is going to change. At some point in the very near future, I think a lot of us are just going to be wearing these really cool AR glasses, and I can read if I watch CNN or I'm Canadian, so I'm looking at CBC or something like that. Like I'm just gonna be able to read it on the go in the lens as I'm walking somewhere, right? Like that's absolutely coming. Um, so
Yeah, that's already here, and you've had a couple of iterations with Meta,
yep.
Apple playing it out, and it might not get it right the first time, but it's not going to go away. And then I wrote a blog post. I remember back with my niece. She's now 18, so it was a while ago, but it was Club Penguin. Remember Club Penguin?
I do,
That was
yeah.
like the first thing where I was my 6-year-old, 7-year-old niece asked her what she wanted for Christmas, and she asked me for a new igloo for her digital penguin. I was like, wait, what? You don't want a bike? You don't want and it's not even a computer game now that they were wanting. It was an igloo for her for her penguin. And that
Yeah.
was the wake up call for me back, 12, 15 years ago of like, okay, well, the kids are changing, demand is changing, products changing. And that's why we're seeing so many brands now scrambling to build experiences and sell branded UGC content in these
Yep.
worlds, which they're seeing as a huge business and also very important because if their brand doesn't exist in these spaces, then it's not going to exist in the real world,
Yep.
and they're going to lose that influence that they've had today. So that's a really interesting kind of change that we're seeing between the digital physical worlds.
Yeah, my nieces and nephews were the same way. So it was Christmas this year, and they were asking like, "What do you guys want for Christmas?" And it was Robux. Like, I was
Robust.
Robux. I just want Robux. It's like, well, this is going to be the easiest Christmas shopping ever. Having gift cards is super easy. Um, so I will say, just based on the last of the questions that came in here, is that it sounds like some of the biggest hurdles that people are kind of worried about, and I don't want to say worried about, but some of the like the challenges they have right now are around the actual technical implementation. Like, how hard is this to get off the ground? It sounds great, it sounds appealing, and we know we want to do it, but how do we do it? Like, what is the cost and what does the implementation look like? It like just looking at the last survey results, it really sounds like the technical piece is more of the hurdle as opposed to no recognizing the ROI and things like that. It's really so I will say like integrating into, and it really doesn't matter the ad stack you're using. Of course, obviously, I'd love it if you use AdButler, but this is not designed to just work with AdButler. But it is very easy to drop into any ad platform. You don't need your own video player. ViewFi is the video player. ViewFi has the reward. Really, just this is honestly just a kind of like a drag and drop situation, right? It works with any ad tag that at least AdButler offers. I don't know about your integrations with other ad servers, but I know with AdButler, you literally just take your tag from ViewFi, drop it into AdButler as a third-party ad tag, serve it to your site. Everything else is handled in the ViewFi, so you don't need to go out and source a video player. You don't need to go out and source any other tech. It's literally just a tag-based implementation that's super easy. If you're doing an API-based implementation, we're still just going to give you the payload that you need to render to the page. So it's very, very easy to do. But maybe Chris, you can touch on that a little bit more. I know we're getting close to time, so
Perfect. I'm just going to share my screen quickly to share within a few seconds how it sets up. But we got a self-serve platform. We've also got Marcus and the team on hand to help and guide any publishers. But we can give you access, a demo account that you can get going and show you how easy it is. But essentially, you'll come in and you'll build your brand seat, which then is a consistent your logo, and it'll give you a URL. You can connect your own DNS, so it could be video.publishername.com, so it's all sitting on your own DNS. And then you basically give your campaign a name. You insert your MP4 URL or your YouTube, Vimeo, however you want to be serving. And this is compatible with AdButler too. So you'd paste if you're hosting the video file with AdButler, you'd host it here, or you can upload the MP4 file to ViewFi. And then from that, you can select at what point of the video you want unlocked. So that'll give you a countdown based on when the user can unlock it. And then you give a call to action. You upload an image, a 400 by 300 image, which is like our success image that once you've got through, you give it a title, and that's optional, but you give it a title, you give the reward message, you can put some more learn more, and you can actually paste your own terms and conditions, your own legals or your brand's legals in here. So it's all sitting on your terms. And as I said, you own all the data that's being collected. And then in this instance, you can give a coupon code. We have 6 or 8 other different types of templates, or you can do a bulk upload. So every unique code is unique. And then as we go into the database, we can show you very quickly here. Let me just go into access user data. You'll then be able to get, this is just a demo that we made recently, you'll be able to get the user email address, the reward, whether they claim, date, timestamp, geos, and then we have a whole bunch of more advanced features as well. But just to get going, we can get a campaign set up in minutes.
awesome.
And then there's one other thing I'll just share with you is then on the publish screen, these are all the different mechanisms. So you can You can add the different
Yeah,
widgets.
here we go. That's what I wanted to look at. Yeah, like your social link, your embed code. So like if you're using, again, I can't speak to say like a Google Ad Manager implementation, but you can honestly just take this tag and drop it directly into your AdButler account, and the ad will start serving.
Exactly. So we have all the different options here based on your configurations. And then we have an ad manager dashboard too, which allows you to then come in and see all your tracking, the views, and the type of formats that you want to run it in, the different brand seeds, the campaigns, and then you can progress here to set up your tag, and then you paste that tag into the ad manager the ad butler, sorry, platform, and you'd be away.
Awesome. Yeah, it's very straightforward. So again, if there's anybody here that's really interested in trying, you know, reach out to Marcus, myself, anybody on my team. I think both of our emails for our companies are hello@ViewFi and hello@AdButler. So very straightforward to reach out.
Hello at viewfi.io, and then
Oh,
we'll be
ViewFi.
on
Yeah,
hand.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We
And
have a,
we
sorry, I was gonna say we have a question from the audience. Jackie's
yes.
curious to know if anyone has perspective from the publisher side. If they were to create a rewarded unit and not completely fill it with direct, what is the current perception of rewarded video on the open market? Is it still considered less than ideal?
In the
That's a
so
really good question.
It's a really good question. So, in if we're talking about programmatic advertising, then there's a way to message to say that this is rewarded, this is incentivized, and so it's passed in the bid request, to say, hey, which is valid working with any SSPs. So that's if you're pulling demand in from an SSP provider, you're wrapping your own reward onto ViewFi, and then you're distributing and managing that reward as the publisher. Then yes, it is. You need to pass it up into the bid request to say that this is rewarded, and so the advertiser is aware that there is a reward mechanism, and it's not just super high engagement results coming from your destination. Then, I mean, I definitely agree there has been a change in the market from rewarded being closely linked to incentivized, and there's been some abuse of that in the past, or just having people on a platform earning a $10 Amazon voucher watching 100 plus videos a day, and the advertiser doesn't realize that that's coming from it. So I believe that it has got a negative stigma from that implementation, but that implementation is very different here with ViewFi because we're a white labeled solution working with the publishers. We're not creating an environment to earn cash to just come and watch random videos, if that makes sense. Rob, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. So, I think this is going to be a buzzword, and I promised in my LinkedIn post that I would keep buzzwords to a minimum, but I'm gonna drop a buzzword, and I apologize. And curation. That's the buzzword I'm gonna drop here is curation. It's the only time I'm gonna use it. However, open auction, open market, filling things programmatically is great for kind of like that long tail. Like if you just don't have, if you need to fill something in, something can sometimes be better than nothing, but also sometimes not showing an ad or like it can also be detrimental if it's done incorrectly, right? So the last thing you want your users to do is go there and um, end up having a reward, but the video content is not in line with what they want to consume, right? So I don't want to sit here and watch, and I can't speak for everybody, but I don't want to sit here and watch an ad for a beauty product like I need it. But I don't want to sit here and watch a 60-second ad for a beauty product to get a reward for something, when I'm just not going to sit and watch it. I really not, right? So that's where I think having some sort of direct relationship is best, but you can also still have like a programmatic guarantee, right? So you can still create and you can still work through a deal ID. You could still have curated programmatic deals where you're filtering out based on the type of brand that's advertising on there. So yes, you're not just running like I would edge against, and I think you're seeing this not just in video, but you're seeing it across display as a whole, is that the open auction market is kind of, I don't want to say dying, but it's pivoting to more of like curated content, right? And a lot more private marketplace deals. It's still being bought through the DSP of their choice, right? But what they're buying at that point is a very curated deal. It's curated, so they're going to the SSP, or they're going to rather the DSP, and the brand is saying, "Look, I want to run my ad, but I really need to get into these kind of like niche audiences. I don't want to pay to have it in front of these random eyeballs." So there's, PMP deals set up somewhere in between where they curate a collection of publisher inventory and say, "Here is what it is. This is what we're going to fill." And I think you're going to see not just everything is going that way, right? And I think rewarded video is going to be the same way. Um, Obviously, a direct relationship is your best bet because your brand, it's that like we've taken the humanity out of ads so much, I think. Like everything has gone so programmatic and so automated, which is great as a business. But it can also be what's the word I'm looking for? I'm very much a people person, and I still like having that human interaction. I'm always going to push for a publisher to have a relationship with their brand because I just live in that field of dreams where if you build it, they shall come. If you have really good content, people are going to come and the advertisers are going to come to you, right? And we're seeing that great big shift in retail right now, especially where every retailer is starting up a retail media network. Um, Publishers have seen this for quite a long time now, but um, people undervalue their their inventory. People like they don't understand that you have readers coming to consume your content. There are brands that are going to work with you. Now you may need to go through like a self-service route, kind of like what you mentioned, Chris. They may not have the brand might not have a great big budget to come to you and say, "Hey, look, you're a smaller site, your audience is small. Yeah, you're the perfect target audience, but you don't have enough viewers for me to really justify spending the time and the overhead to reach you." That's where some sort of curated PMP deal here, right? So not open auction where you're just getting random rewarded video ads across the internet, but a curated PMP deal. That's the next step, right? That's what's going to be super beneficial for if you still want to monetize, but you want to monetize programmatically without a direct relationship. PMP is the way to go, right?
And to that point, Rob, I think our roadmap as we're expanding, growing our teams, building relationships, we're getting buy-in from these bigger brands. A lot of the question is, oh, where can I run this? And so thinking, maybe in the future we have a ViewFi PMP network, which then of publishers that are onboarded and happy to run this format, which we could actually then bring them the advertiser and monetize their traffic. So it could be an interesting development in the coming months here at ViewFi.
Yeah. Well, I know we're at time, so I'm not sure who wants to do the closing statements. Natasha and Marcus, it's up to you guys. But from my point of view, it's been an absolute pleasure, Marcus, Chris. I love what you guys are building over at ViewFi. I think it's really great. I think there's a lot of opportunity again for I think it's a market that everybody should be tapping into at this point, right? If you're not doing video content, everybody should get into it because you're either already leaving money on the table or you're going to start leaving money on the table really soon. And it doesn't matter what vertical you're in. Like this is just the way that people consume content nowadays. It's just what we do, right? We're programmed to do it. So I think now's the time. If you're not doing it already, now's the time to start. And there's no better company to start with than AdButler and ViewFi. That's my 2 cents. I'll leave it to Chris to give his sign off.
Amazing sign off. But yeah, thank you so much for the time. Thanks for everyone tuning in. It's been a delight to chat with Rob and Marcus here. If you can help you with anything, please get in touch, reach out, say hi, and thank you guys. We'll see you soon.
Yes, get in touch with us via hello@viewfi.io or AdButler via hello@adbutler.com. Well, thank you very much, Rob and Chris, for sharing your expertise today. We have learned a lot, and thank you everyone for joining us today. See you next time.